sansar davanal niralokam taraya karuna ghana ghanatyam.
So this is about the GBC's decision on female Diksha-Gurus.
Right.
And so this was just now in Tirupati, and the first question I just wanted to ask you is, what do you think about the GBC's resolution allowing different regions to decide for themselves whether they want to accept lady gurus or not?
The philosophy is philosophy. It applies the same way to America as it applies in India, or it applies in Europe. So that doesn't make sense to separate this for this area, this is allowed, but for this area, not allowed. This is covering down to modern philosophy, some places. Modern, what is prevailing currently, contemporary culture, covering down, Prabhupada never covered down. Even though Prabhupada came in 1965, where the American culture was quite different. Prabhupada established his own culture on Americans. He did not make any changes.
Mm-hmm.
So what is doing is mistake.
So so one of the persons who's been one of the big supporters of this has said that we absolutely need it to preach in the West, because every time we talk to them and they say, "Where are your women gurus?" they go away.
This is your nonsense. Why should they go away? From the time immemorial, women have been initiated by men in every culture, whether it is Christian culture or whether it is Hindu culture. So this is not, argument doesn't stand anyway. Christian culture also, women are following their father, what priest, what they call father. Priest is called father.
Mm-hmm.
So they are following fathers, they are following popes, father, bishop, popes. Always patriarchal.
Mm-hmm.
They say that they'll go away is nonsense. When Prabhupada was so heavy, all the women laughed and they stayed with Prabhupada like their daughters.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't mind. Just like my wife does not mind that Prabhupada wanted women to be associated with men. She may not have liked me, but she never minded Prabhupada that Prabhupada is wrong in pursuing this philosophy. And even now somebody talked to her and she said, no, she doesn't believe in diksa-gurus.
Mm-hmm. One of the counter arguments against the female Diksha-Gurus is that, well, if you have men and women mixing in society, even if there's no apparent connection between a few lady gurus and other things in society, it has its effect. Like, for example, in the West, they have what's called the Me Too movement. You've heard of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's where more than 400 men in top positions in society. These are not ordinary men, but they're top men who actually support women's rights and equal rights. They were found abusing women. And then it's gone from America all over the world. So can you say a little bit about this connection between us endorsing female Diksha-Gurus and perhaps, is there any connection at all? Maybe there's no connection.
There is no connection between Me Too and this decision. On the contrary, there will be thousands of Me Too. You are bringing men close to women by this, and women are naturally like children. They are easily swept away. They are easily convinced. So, a crafty man will convince women and there will be illicit connections. There is, first of all, Diksha means, in Gaudiya month, Diksha means second initiation. First initiation is called Harinam. But how will they give second initiation? In tradition, they don't give Brahman state. How will they give Brahman state to men?
Right.
I don't mind their giving initiation to women. But worst come to worst, they will give initiation to women, but men should not be initiated by them.
So, what do you think is going to be the effect on society that now that if local regions can decide whether they will have female gurus or not, what effect do you think this will have on the rest of ISKCON?
It will give rise to religion and illicit connections. That's all there is. If men and women are supposed to mix, there is always problem, because there is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that Matras Swasta Duhitrava Naniktasana Bhavet. Even men should not be in a secluded place with one's own mother or with one's own daughter or sister. So strict Lord Chaitanya says that even if you see a doll made of wood, my mind is disturbed. So what to speak of a live woman and living closely? Because women will be giving instruction to men. So there will be some closeness here.
So what do you think of the argument that they say that some say that the position of guru or the service is completely transcendental, and that these considerations are not they're not considerations?
Srimad Bhagavatam is transcendental. It is Niyam Kalpataru Rita for it. Mature food, all Vedic trees. It is beyond Vedanta, beyond Upanishads, beyond Vedas. It is the topmost scripture. And it still says that it is a transcendental scripture. And it still says that we are not transcendental. We are always transcendental. But men and women are not transcendental. They are still going on that we consider first 11 gurus as transcendental, and then we went back and called them ordinary. Now at least one thing is accepted by the devotees. We are not like Prabhupada. Prabhupada is the only guaranteed transcendental person in this movement. No women or man are guaranteed to be transcendental.
Mhm. So what do you say to the people who say that, well, just like you mentioned, the 11 gurus who, most of them fell down, gross fell down. What do you say to those who say, well, if the men aren't doing so well, why shouldn't we give the women a chance?
It is like it's like saying the two wrongs make right. The men are falling down, so now the women also fall down. But if it is happening with men, then why should it do it to women? Because women are by nature not supposed to be gurus. They are supposed to follow their husband's ashram. So, some women are not given brahmanas. We are not established an ashram properly yet. So, most of the women that I know who are coming forward to these gurus once they kick their husbands out of their life, or somebody whose husband is dead and renounced person. So they are not. I think the most important thing about a woman is that she is dependent, she is not independent. Monastery says, Piturashani, what is childhood? Kaumare. Piturashani Kaumare, Maturashani Yavane, Kapiru Sarira Kare Putrashanti. Nasti Saranam Ahadi. The woman never give independence. And even those great women like Kunti Devi praise Yatha Paramahamsanam Punnavanatmanam Bhaktiru Vidanasam Katham Pashyamahi Striya. You are a great person of Krishna. You are realized by Paramahansa, women, Paramahansa men, and Punnavanatmanam, Munis, great sages for a pure heart. We of women folk, how can we understand you? Kunti Devi is 1,000 times greater than me. And she says, Katham Pashyamahi Striya. How can we women folk understand you? So,
well, they say that, well, actually this proves it, that Kunti, she's topmost devotee, the wives of the Brahmanas, even their husbands recognized their wives were more advanced spiritually than them. So why can they not also be guru?
they may be more qualified, but they can be instructing gurus to women, they can give instructions to women, general Vedic tradition. But they cannot give initiations. They can preach Diksha-Gurus, but they should not be Diksha-Gurus.
So I'd like to read one of the parts of the GBC's resolution on it's regarding qualifications for female Diksha-Gurus. They say, they say that women should be, are, quote, are at least 55 years of age and in a stable family situation, living under the protection of a husband, elder son or son-in-law, qualified household or couple, or senior Vaishnava or Vaishnavi Sangha. Is this in line with Prabhupada's teachings and the Parampara?
I don't believe so. Because I want to read one verse from Prabhupada's own Bhagavad Gita. Can I do this?
Yeah.
Just take the 16th chapter, verse 7.
Chapter 16, verse 7.
Pravutticha nivritticha janana vidyasva na socham napi chakaro na satyam desu vidyate. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done, what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. Not truth is found in them. Purport. In every civilized human society, there is some set of strictest rules and regulations. This is followed by from the beginning. Especially among the Aryans, those who adopt the very civilization and who are known as the most advanced civilized people, those who do not follow the spiritual injunctions are supposed to be demons. Therefore, it is stated here, the demons do not know the scriptural rules, nor do they have any inclination to follow them. Most of them do not know them, and even if some of them know, they have not a tendency to follow them. Therefore, no faith, nor are they willing to act in terms of the Vedic injunctions. Followers are not clean, either internally or externally. One should always be careful to keep his body clean by bathing, brushing them, shaving, changing clothes, etc. As far as internal cleanliness is concerned, one should always remember the holy names of God and chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare. Demons neither like nor follow all these rules for external and internal cleanliness. As far as behavior, there are many rules and regulations guiding human behavior. Such as the Brahma Samhita, which is the law of human race. Now, what is significant in this verse is that there is no mention of any woman in the original verse. It's about demoniac people. It's not about women. But Prabhupada takes it to those who do not follow the demons. So, let's read this.
That's actually a very interesting point you bring up, Prabhu Ji. There's that this isn't in the verse itself, and some people say that smritis like Manusmriti or these rules that Prabhupada's talking about, they're for some bygone era, that it's for some time in the past, it's not now, and Srila Prabhupada is just telling us for information, but he doesn't really mean that we should follow it.
In this very verse, Prabhupada gives the importance of this. In this, as for behavior, there are many rules for human behavior, such as the Manu Samhita, which is the law of the human race. Prabhupada calls Manu Samhita the law of the human race. He does not call it Smriti or not important or less or more. He calls it the law of human race. Even up to today, those who are Hindus follow Manu Samhita. Laws of inheritance, other realities derive from this book. Now, in the Manu Samhita is clearly stated that a woman should not be given freedom. That does not mean that women are to be kept as slaves. Prabhupada is very careful. He is emphasizing the Vedic scripture, but he is also saying that that does not mean they are kept as slaves. So whatever concession or whatever opposition the Western culture will put, Prabhupada preparing us for that. But that does not mean they are kept as slaves. But they are like children. Children are not given freedom, but that does not mean that they are kept as slaves. The demons have now neglected such injections, and they think that women should be given as a freedom as men. So, Prabhu was there when we discussed in the Indian meeting. I never said anything, these are demons. But he told me that some people told me demons, we are going off the way. This verse quite clearly says that those who believe in giving freedom to women are demons. Now this is the most strict or heavy statement that was given. And this should mean that the Krishna conscious people, they shouldn't follow Prabhupada's instructions. Whether they understand or not, that is their problem. But Prabhupada's instruction is very clear that they come in the category of demons who do not follow this law.
Now, Prabhu, now devotees, those who we have a disagreement with, they will say that yes, this is applicable, but not for devotee women, because they have accepted Krishna. Prabhupada made an analytical exception for devotee women. They say they're excluded from this category. This is not devotee women. This is not Prabhupada's daughters.
But as far as I'm concerned, it's for all women. Even the chapter of Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, of the Rasa chapter, in which the gopis had come in the night, 12 o'clock, hearing Krishna's flute, and Krishna tells them that why you have come, you are all chaste women. Women who are chaste should follow their husbands and they should remain in their family. So Prabhupada says that this should be very, this law should be followed by ordinary women who are not gopis. Even advanced women, even those who are devoted women, they should follow the law given way. Because all the five women were chaste. Draupadi, Sita, Mandodari. Mandodari, one of them was Ravana's wife. Ravana, demon's wife.
Mhm.
Even a demon's wife is considered one of the chastest woman because she followed the demon. So, what I have understood from Prabhupada's books was personal instruction to us, personal association, that women's greatest position, women is considered advanced when she is dependent, when she is following her husband or father or one of children.
Mhm.
And even in India, we have women who are going out and distributing transcendental literature. There is no harm in distributing transcendental literature. They go out door to door and they send women. But no women is encouraged to be independent, and they don't think that the independence is very good. Let me read the rest of the verse.
Mhm.
And they think that they are like children. Children are not given freedom. But that does not mean they are kept as slaves. The demons have now neglected such injunctions. They should Prabhupada now.
So those injunctions are meant for us. They're not meant for some bygone era. They're meant for us, actually.
They're meant for us also, and those are not devotees also. If we don't follow, then we belong to Shruti Puranadi Panchati Vinimina. Ekante Vichare Bhakti Utaya Kalpate. If it's not for us, then what are the injunctions of Shastras for? And Chanakya Prabhupada often quoted Chanakya Nitishastra. Chanakya also says this. The real beauty of a woman is her chastity, not her. The beauty of a coil is her voice. Beauty of a Brahman is her studies. The beauty of a woman is in being chaste. So, all is just like Prabhupada says here, all there are thousands of quotes of Prabhupada in his books that women should be given shelter, they should be given independence. I let me finish. Actually, but now neglected generations. And they think that women should be given as much freedom as men. However, this was not improved. This has not improved the social condition of the world. Actually, women should be given protection at every stage of life. She should be given protection by the father at younger age, the husband in the youth, by the innocence of old age. This is proper social behavior according to the Manusamhita. The modern education has artificially devised personal concept, memory concept of human life. Modern education has devised a puffed-up womanly concept. This says that everybody should follow the instructions.
Follow this instruction. So, Prabhu Ji, considering all this, I would just like to consider now what we call the January 3rd letter. Just like there's this July 9th letter for another ISKCON issue, we have now the January 3rd letter. And that's the letter that says, Prabhupada says to Hansadutta, January 3rd, 1960. He says, I want that all of my spiritual sons and daughters will inherit this title of Bhaktivedanta, so that the family transcendental diploma will continue through the generations. Those possessing the title of Bhaktivedanta will be allowed to initiate disciples. Maybe by 1975, all of my disciples be allowed to initiate and increase the numbers of generations. That is my program. My question to you on this is, without this letter, do you think that there is any case at all for having female Diksha-Gurus who are not exceptionally elevated like Janava Mata and Ganga Mata Goswamini?
Even with this letter, I have to see the letter in context of Sadhu Shastra and Guru. This letter does not say the woman should initiate, and these other references for women's duty, they prohibit. So, if 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 and 4 plus 0 is equal to 4, so 4 plus 0 will become 5 or 6, because this 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So this letter says my daughters and my sons, but Prabhupada's teachings are saying no. Another thing that Prabhupada in his lifetime he was for 12 years he performed his pastimes. He did not appoint any woman as temple president or GBC or Guru. So you have to see what he did also and what he said also. So considering all these things, taking all together, there is restriction. I had heard when I was in India, holidays, 74, I came from America. So Prabhupada is known to have said, Jamuna is a very good manager, but only problem is that she is a woman. So I cannot appoint her as a president. So, Prabhupada did not appoint any woman as president. So there also they have disallowed. If they have mistakes, if they have made mistakes time and again about different issues. So they are not immune to making mistakes. To make mistakes, conditions will always make a mistake. And most of our condition. So you make mistakes. So this is a mistake and it will backfire on society, it will backfire in the society at large, and it will backfire in our Krishna consciousness movement also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
Now another point is that what is the necessity? Already we have 70, 50, 60, 70 gurus. They have somebody at 10 disciples. So all the sannyasis, they can have disciples. Why did Prabhupada give sannyas? If he wanted anybody to initiate, why did he do sannyas? He gave sannyas to make leaders, make gurus. So at least I believe that even a man who is not a sannyasi should not initiate. Anybody who wants to initiate should take a sannyas. Otherwise you cheapen the guruship. We are already cheapened enough and we are going to cheapen more. So I am not in the favor of unqualified man, but woman says right. If unqualified men are allowed, why unqualified women are not allowed? So I am against unqualified men also. But I am surely against women Diksa-Guru, because it is men you cannot know that they are qualified till they have proved they are good. Till they behave in a qualified way.
Mm-hmm. So one thing about this, you're talking about the Shastra and having to conform to everything, not just this one letter. You have to take everything in context. Now, one thing that I think is interesting is that they tend to very letter, but not so much the books. In fact, they seem to give more emphasis to letters and personal recollections of their interactions with Prabhupada than to books. But the books, we've heard before, they're supposed to be the law books for 10,000 years. So why do you think there's this discrepancy? Why do you think that there's giving more emphasis to letters?
I believe that Prabhupada's every word, whether letter or books or conversation, is transcendental. I do not want to take off from letter Prabhupada's gravity. But he did not appoint anybody. So we have to see that what is said in the letter has been followed by Prabhupada or not. He did not follow. That means even though he said that women can become gurus, he never practiced that. So he never practiced, and sadhus don't say, and there is no Shastra reference. Therefore, I don't. Why should we change something? Change is a Western disease, Prabhupada says. And then when such a strong statement is there, that demons think that women should be given independence. So Prabhupada called everybody demons. And Amrita was wearing his own he fits on head. So he was wearing the pagadi. There is a saying in Hindi, in Gujarati, the one who alarms about something, he only puts on pagadi which fits him. So we didn't say who was the demons. I just quoted this letter that Prabhupada calls all those who give freedom to women as demons. And he objected. So I said, you objected because you know that Prabhupada calls you a demon also.
Mm-hmm. So in this regard, just to follow on from this, the Shastric Advisory Council calls the strongest piece of evidence against lady gurus, lady Diksha-Gurus, is a verse from in purport from the fourth canto of the Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text 32. This has now become known as the Suniti verse. So I'd like to read that to you, and I would like to read the Shastric Advisory Council response back, and I'd like to get your comment on this. So first I'm going to read the verse, or what Prabhupada says, the purport. So he says, it's right here. He says, quote, actually, Dhruva Maharaj's mother, Suniti, was his Pata Pradarshaka Guru. Pata Pradarshaka Guru means, quote, the guru or the spiritual master who shows the way, unquote. Such a guru is sometimes called Shiksha-Guru. Although Narada Muni was his Diksha-Guru, initiating spiritual master, Suniti, his mother, was the first who gave him instruction on how to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the duty of the Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru to instruct the disciple in the right way, and it depends on the disciple to execute the process. According to Shastric injunctions, there is no difference between Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru, and generally the Shiksha Guru later on becomes the Diksha Guru. Suniti, however, being a woman, and specifically his mother, could not become Dhruva Maharaj's Diksha Guru. Now, I want to read to you what the Shastric Advisory Council, how they responded to this. So they say, this is the Shastric Advisory Council response, quote, the one significant negative statement, quote, Suniti, however, being a woman, and specifically his mother, could not become Dhruva Maharaj's Diksha Guru, unquote. This can be interpreted differently. One possible interpretation is that women cannot initiate male devotees, but could not do so for female devotees. Another could be that women can initiate all others except for their own offspring. This second interpretation could be supported by the fact that the second wife, Sri Vasudha Devi, did not initiate her own son Virta Chandra, but Jahnavi did so.
What
In any case,
what did you say just now?
they're saying that this second interpretation, which is that women can initiate all others except for their own offspring, and they give the evidence here that Nityananda's second wife, Sri Vasudha Devi, did not initiate her own son Virta Chandra, but Sri Janava Devi did so. In any case, and this is probably the most significant part, in any case, Prabhupada is referring to an incident at a specific time in the distant past, and his other statements dealing with the present time, conversations with Professor O'Connell or with Aitreya Rishi Das, and specifically within ISKCON, are more valuable as pramanas in this discussion, unquote. What What do you say to that?
What is Prabhupada said to Caitanya?
Well, let me repeat this last sentence here of the Shastric Advisory Council. They say, in any case, Srila Prabhupada is referring to an incident at a specific time in the distant past. In other words, Dhruva and his mother, this happened in the past.
Right.
And his statements dealing with the present time, conversations with Professor O'Connell and with Aitreya Rishi Das, and specifically within ISKCON, are more valuable as pramanas in this discussion. But you were saying before, every word of Srila Prabhupada's is transcendental.
No, what did he say in O'Connell conversation with Aitreya? I don't know. You have some...
I can get those. I can get those real quickly, but this...
He says women can be gurus.
Yeah.
He says women can be gurus just to pacify somebody, but he never appointed somebody. Right. So we should also see what he did in his 12 years of being spiritual master. He did everything. He made us give up intoxication, research, gambling, and he made no distinction between man and woman, eating prasadam, giving lectures, preaching, but he never appointed, just like you have one, your Damod has one very nice verse, that woman should not be given position of authority. He had one verse like that. Damodar Prabhu, that Bhakti Vikas disciple, he had a very nice quote from scripture that women should not give initiation, Shudra should not give initiation. So Prabhupada gave that a Shudra can be made a Brahman by proper instruction, by proper, but they never say that women should be given initiation. Even though they can be purified and they can be taken, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj did not take the women in the ashram. Even those who are addicted to women take the ashram. Even I, 70 years of age, I'm very feeling that I am better off not leaving the ashram. So, ashram life for women is very difficult. Prabhupada allowed it, but they didn't make them authorities and in charge of anything.
But why would this, in this particular case, the Shastric Advisory Council is saying that this purport and this statement in this purport has less value as a pramana than Srila Prabhupada's statements made to the Professor O'Connell, Aitreya Rishi. You mentioned that it's your point of view that Prabhupada is trying to pacify somebody, or he's speaking diplomatically. But let's consider the case that he's not speaking diplomatically. Let's just take that Prabhupada speaking factually and not diplomatically. can you say that one of these pramanas is more important than the other pramana? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
The pramana that also is confirmed by other sadhus and other scriptures, that pramana is very solid pramana. Prabhupada did not claim, interpret. Even Lord Caitanya did not claim to be God. He told us to give scriptures. He spoke from the scriptures and he emphasized the scriptures. Both of them, Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the third Goswamis, and the other Acharyas, they all emphasize the scriptures. And there is a story of one woman, chaste woman, that carried her husband in a basket, and he was cursed by Markandeya Muni to die in the morning. So she, by her chastity, developed unparalleled powers, and she said, my husband is going to die, then there will be no more sunrise in the morning. So the sun did not rise, and then Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh came to the woman, and they said that your husband will die, will become handsome man, and he's a religious man, and all her desires were fulfilled. She, by her chastity, changed the destiny of, and Prabhupada gave this example in the Chaitanya. So this is coming from the Shastra. So we should follow the Shastra. Why Shastri committee does not follow the scriptures?
Mm-hmm. Don't you think then that you could dismiss anything in Shastra by saying Shastra only dealt with those things in the past, but whatever Prabhupada says in the present is more valuable? Doesn't that put Shastra on a lower level? Isn't that the opposite?
No, I accept Prabhupada has the authority of changing the Shastra in the essential thing. Just like women are not given mantras also, but Prabhupada is Mahamantra to them. And women don't generally. Prabhupada was so much conservative that he always gave examples of how her mother was secluded from family. She was a Surya. They did not see the sunlight. They remained like burkha. Not burkha, but they went to the temple by palki, palanquin, and came by palanquin. There was only sun by the sun. They were not seen by the sun also.
Mm-hmm.
Sun god also.
Mm-hmm.
So Prabhupada has generally given us this description. This is not coming from some belief, some Prabhupada's own attitude. Those devotees who say that Prabhupada was Indian, and Indian old men who put Indian old men's views and projected on modern Western men and women. They are wrong. Prabhupada was 10% Krishna's man, and whatever he emphasized was for Krishna consciousness. He did not believe in Indian system. Otherwise, nobody would have, no Westerner would have taken sannyas, or no Westerner would have been made a Brahman. Prabhupada was 10% dynamic man. He was the Vaishnava Pradhan. He was a very powerful Acharya. All ways, whatever he says, whatever he's done for our life, and how to eat, how to sleep, how to bathe, how to talk, how to walk, everything, whatever he taught was perfect. And
So why do you think Srila Prabhupada didn't just say, just only repeat what I say, but you should also, you should also follow Shastra, and you should follow the Acharyas and what the Guru says. He didn't say just follow what the Guru says. Why do you think Prabhupada still, despite his exalted position, still emphasized Shastra and Acharyas?
Yeah, raising a very important point. We should be following the Prabhupada's instructions 10%, but we should not subject Prabhupada to criticism from others who know scriptures by defying scriptures. By defining. Prabhupada says to me that now the sannyasis are criticizing me that I am giving second initiation to Westerners and making them sannyasis. So you should be very careful, and you should develop the qualities of Brahman. You should not make me cheapen in front of them. So Prabhupada took risk to make you Brahmins and make you sannyasis. Then now you want to make it a rule exception. But you are not that powerful Acharya. No, even if you combine 100 GBCs together, they will not become as powerful as Prabhupada. So, Prabhupada is the Acharya, and he has the authority to say whatever he says. But GBC should follow the Sarvasastra and Guru and Prabhupada. They should not take the exceptions as a rule. This should cause a fall down. It takes scriptures very lightly and we fall down.
So do you think that the different interpretations of Srila Prabhupada that say, for example, say that, well, women are just as good as their brothers who are practicing Krishna consciousness, therefore we should also make them temple presidents. Do you think that this is a consequence of going against Prabhupada, that instruction to also follow Shastra and Acharyas?
Yes. Because Prabhupada in his lifetime, in his teaching experience, or 12 years, 11 or 12 years. He did not appoint, so he did not personally do. Why should we become more, what you call, adventurous and do something different from what Prabhupada did? Especially when scriptures are forbidding, calling you a demon. You should not take it lightly. It's supposed to be, I'm going to send to all the GBCs that your activities, you're not demons, you're first class Brahmins, you're highly qualified people. But this activity called you demons, Prabhupada called demons. So you have inadvertently or what you call unwillingly it become something that Prabhupada did not want you to be.
It seems to be like there is a difference between understanding what Prabhupada said actually and thinking you've understood Prabhupada, but not actually understanding Prabhupada. Which is why you need these other, you need Shastra, you need Acharyas to double check, triple check what you're thinking.
Right. Gurumukha Vadana I believe Prabhupada's instruction is 7% in accordance with the Shastra and his Guru. Prabhupada would, but you don't understand what Prabhupada did something for change. My sons and daughters will do. But if there is no practice during Prabhupada's lifetime and in general also there is no practice, why Mother Janma is not living entity. She is special energy of Balaram, Lord Balaram. So you should not follow Prajna's example. So other who Ganga Mata is also extraordinary devotee. So,
would you say that this resolution to passing female diksha, for allowing female Diksha-Gurus on a region by region basis is a result of not properly following the way Prabhupada told us to understand him and the Shastras and the Acharyas?
Right. I believe so. I believe what you believe. But I am not a fanatic like some people. If you make a mistake, a colossal mistake like this, it is going to backfire on us. And when it backfires, then they will come back again online. Some people know that you hurt your bone by falling in the ditch. Some people have to fall in the ditch. Some people will be warned by hearing that you fall in the ditch, you fall in the ditch, you will hurt yourself. So, Shastras are like that. For the purpose of don't fall in the ditch. I'm warning you.
So we're almost at the end of this, and one last thing I would like to ask you is do you have some message that you would like to say to the leadership, to the GBC and other leaders on this, on the matter of this, their resolution to have female Diksha-Gurus?
I would like to give a message that I have no qualification. I am not anybody against them. I am a very small person. But this is very obvious. It's very obvious mistake. Sometimes scientist Newton made 2 holes for cat to pass. Prabhupada used to say he made a mistake. Similarly, you great personalities are not seeing through simple things. Please try to understand. This simple thing, but it will cause harm, backfire. I can say it, or what else can I say? It is simple. Then I was saying that what is the need? Already we have many gurus. We are competing with each other. They are criticizing each other. So there are many gurus and they can take the responsibilities. What is for women themselves? For the time being, let it settle down society. And when we have thousands of chaste women, you can make some chaste women good. But we don't have thousands. There are thousands of divorced women. And there's such a divorced women. I heard that one woman has stay order from the government. Her husband should not come in 50 yards of her. And such a woman will become Diksha-Guru. That is the result of this resolution. It is already unsastric application. We see it. And I know many women that they have left their families and they are so-called renowned. We are not transcendental. We are not supposed to give up the sattvic injection. Women are supposed to serve their husbands and they should not take divorce. Prabhupada said in the fourth canto that generally divorce takes place because woman becomes dissatisfied. Lord Shiva told Parvati, don't go to Daksha. And Parvati was pacing back and forth, and she was the chastest woman. She was the most chaste, but she could not even control her anger, and she went against what she was. Mother Parvati was a devoted woman, even she made a mistake. So what to speak of a naive woman?
Hmm. Okay. So I wish to thank you very much for taking the time to answer many questions that are important to many devotees over this and your insights into this issue.
I'm a very small man, but I had a lot of experience with Prabhupada. And I learned from his books and his association, his lectures. I learned this the truth. But I'm a very small man. But these great personalities do. I agree with them. If some reaction is supposed to come, then I will consider that I know, I say so, it happened. It happened many times, past. Thank you very much for taking my 2 cents, allowing me to add my two cents in this important topic.